new leader.
Where do you think Stéphane Dion is on the learning curve?
Well, I think that he's actually climbed it very quickly, and the key thing that I remind people of is that what they really are looking for, at least this is what they tell me, is integrity in politics. I mean, we need to rebuild people's trust in politics and politicians. For that, what is better than having a prime minister who is indisputed in terms of his integrity and principle? And even Jack Layton said that Stéphane Dion was a man of principle and integrity, right? So when people think of that, it tends to, they tend to agree with that would be what they would like.
As opposed to Harper, you think that in terms of integrity and so on, you believe that you've got it over the Tories, do you?
Absolutely. I mean, Mr. Harper's already shown his stripes on that. He campaigned on not touching income trusts, and 8 months later went around and did the exact opposite. I mean, his challenges with this Cadman scandal, I mean, it hasn't been resolved, but it certainly raises questions in people's minds when he knows that financial considerations are being offered to a dying member of Parliament. So I mean, we'll see what unfolds with that. But I think people have their concerns about Mr. Harper.
Is it enough to keep them from voting Tory, do you think, in this by-election?
Some, yes. I was on a doorstep yesterday where the gentleman was just spitting mad about income trusts. So he had obviously had lost some part of his pension in that, and he just felt it was just an abject betrayal of Canadians to promise one thing and then just go and do the exact opposite.
One of the things that the New Democrats are saying is that essentially there's no difference between the Tories and the Liberals, because the Tories have, or I should say the Liberals have kept the Tories in power by not voting against the budget, for example, and not bringing down the minority government.
Well,
how do you counter that?
Well, that's rich, isn't it? I mean, isn't Jack Layton the person that brought down the Liberal government so that we could have the Tory values in the Prime Minister's chair? I mean, who cost us 2 to 3 years on action on climate change? It's Jack Layton. So I think he's the last person that has any credibility with that argument, frankly. I mean, I credit Jack Layton with giving us conservative government here in Canada. And I don't call them Tories anymore. It's not progressive conservatives. You can take the progressive out. It's actually Reform Alliance conservatives. And we have Jack Layton to thank.
You find it difficult going door to door, knocking on people's doors, saying, hey, vote for me?
No, I like
I'm a great person.
No, I think it's great.
You enjoying it?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Deborah Meredith, and I'm the Conservative candidate for Vancouver Quadra.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And we've got a by-election coming up on March 17th.
I know.
Are you likely to vote Conservative, do you think?
I never have, and I don't think I'm likely to. I'm not terribly happy with what Stephen Harper's doing. I'm really upset about his attitude toward the environment, for one thing, and many other issues so I'm undecided. I've heard good things about you, and I have friends who are supporting you. That's the best I can say.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm a lawyer. I teach at the Sutter School of Business at UBC.
Yeah.
And so I'll do a good job for you.
You'll do a good job.
And I'm going to get elected.
Well,
so
what
I'm going to get elected. I'll be good at it.
How can you convince me that they will do a better job? What do you think Stephen Harper is doing that he's doing well?
Well, I think the approach to the environment is just right. When a couple of decades ago, what we were concerned about is acid rain and depletion of the ozone layer, and it was a Conservative government that addressed that, and it was by mandatory regulation and technology that was developed to...
Oh, yeah, but his refusal to join in with, in the international community, his refusal to take leadership.
Well, everybody
on things and saying, you go first. The poor Indians are supposed to go first. The poor Chinese are supposed to go first. The poor third world is supposed to go first. And then we will follow along. We're not being Canadians. We're not taking a lead on important issues. And
well, the
really
Liberals certainly like the optics of Kyoto, but
the Liberals necessarily did a great job. That's not
well, they didn't do anything.
That's not really the issue. And of course, there were huge errors under Chrétien and under and I don't justify the monkey business about the financial stuff that was going on. But, you know, at the same time, this David Cadman story is not looking very healthy either, that he was offered a bribe.
Well, the story doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
I don't know, but it's very much there.
So this is the cutest little dog. Come here.
I don't know where this is going on your camera here.
So she brought up Cadman. Is anybody else bringing up the whole issue of Chuck Cadman and what was offered to him?
It's the first time I've heard it all weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't think it's going to have an impact on the by-election?
I doubt it.
But in terms of the voting public, do you think people are excited about this? Are they thinking about it, talking about it at all?
Well, you know, I was interviewed by the Georgia Straight, and the reporter said, why has this been so boring? And I thought about that one. I haven't found it boring. I found it kind of exhausting. But I was thinking about it and thought, well, partly it's because the government's been so ethical. There haven't been big ethical issues. And I think another reason is that there's an extraordinary amount of cooperation amongst all levels of government, federal, provincial, and municipal. And that's turned the tone down quite a lot. And I think that that's a very good thing. So it's not the divide and conquer techniques that we've seen in the past. And that may be a reason why separatism, now the Separatist Party in Quebec is running third.
Yeah. So you don't see the thing with this insurance policy issue as being an ethical one?
It may develop as such, but I think the issue doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I don't think it's making a whole lot of sense to voters.
So it won't affect how people will vote here?
I doubt it. I haven't heard it in the last couple of days.
A woman down there talked
about
that
it once.
earlier.
As I said, that is the first time, honestly, that I've heard that.
Yeah.
She seemed to have other issues as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
But she'd heard about you.
Yeah, no, she'd heard about me, and she had some good things to say, so that's part of the way.
Yeah. Trying to convince people one by one.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the only way to do it, one by one by one. I mean, I think that winning an election depends on small thinking. Get that voter.
Yeah, one by one.
One by one.
Counts.
Yeah.
Is there anything the government has done that hurts you?
Well, I think there are a lot of people unhappy about the way that income trusts were treated. But that's done. It's over with. There are reasons for doing it. And I think a lot of people accept those reasons. But I think in the short run, there's discontent there amongst a certain segment
well,
of
people that had money in income trusts weren't very happy.
We had too much money in income trusts. Lots of people had money in income trusts, but people who had too much money in income trusts.
But nothing recent, nothing, no real lightning rod in terms of that might affect your campaign?
I can't think of any, no. It's been pretty quiet, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.